Hey, what's going on, everybody? Dr. Sean J. Harris, and I got Tara off camera. She don't want to get on camera. Y'all know how she do. Hey,
Hello, everyone.
hey, man. Hey, we just sitting out here enjoying this beautiful moonlight and the clouds blowing over. But we want to just kind of talk to you guys about some of the things we put together, continue to put together, and how we structure things for the kids as it relates to creating generational wealth by leveraging credit. It's just so much we can do, like a major masterclass on credit, but we just want to kind of give you guys some of the basics, whether you want to be able to help your kids or your grandkids to start establishing strong, solid credit. So as many of you guys know, DJ is in the Air Force. He is in week number 2 of tech school?
Yes, he's 21 days in tech school.
Yeah. So as of tonight, actually, he got base leave. For all you Air Force people out there, he can leave the base tonight.
Now tell everybody else what that means.
He can leave the base. But so you start getting a little freedom, but you still have curfew. And it's just amazing to see how much DJ has grown, and he's understanding how much of an adult he is now in this, you're on your own kind of thing now. But one of the things we did was we set him up credit-wise, just as we do with the kids. And that's super important to be able to structure their credit. So let us explain. We're going to kind of walk through and tell you what we did with DJ and what we're doing with the kids currently. But like DJ now, he's 18, so he's a grown man. And we had him as authorized users on our credit. So what that did was position him where he can now have a solid, strong credit score. So now, being in the military, they were already going to come throwing a lot of credit card offers to him. So we told him specific credit cards that we want him to get to be able to leverage. We also set him up some platforms for investing. So he has an Acorn account, Stash account, Robinhood, and also Coinbase. And we also gave him some good stocks to do due diligence on and to start investing in some of those companies. So that process is starting, which works hand in hand. But with the credit, what this is going to do for DJ is, because we already gave him a springboard of great credit starting out, he will probably have an 800 credit score within 18 months, just 18 to 24 months after just building his own credit on his own, with the springboard help of us leveraging him through being an authorized user. So, Love, you got anything you want to say real quick? Before I jump in, she's nodding. No, I'm gonna turn the camera on in a second, y'all. But anyway, so with the kids, what we're doing, the kids have a green light account. What's the other one? Goal setter.
And there are authorized users as well.
The authorized user on 3 of our cars, I think 2 or 3. So that's building good credit for them. And
we're also building them business credit for their LLCs.
Absolutely. So why is that important?
That's important for getting things that they'll need, whether it be for their business or if they're adults and they want to put their car or a property or something in their business name, then it keeps their personal credit and business credit separate.
Absolutely. So that's a definite value add, and the reason why we tell people or recommend to people to have your child an LLC no later than the age of 12. You can do it before then, but at least when they're 12 years old, you definitely want to have an LLC, and this serves multiple purposes, because that LLC begins to get seasoned. So when they're 12 years old, by the time they're 16, you got 4 years of seasoned business development while you're building credit. Now, if there's a way to build that credit, you don't want to just go out and start getting credit cards, or it's particular orders and types of credit cards that you want to get. So I know a lot of you guys have been told, go out and get a Staples card, go out and get a Uline account. Well, there's still processes of how to get particular cards, which cards to get, and when to get them. And there's a particular order. So we discussed that with our clients. So basically, when they're 16, 17 years old, they're ready to go straight into making large investments, because they'll have A1 credit, and they'll also have capital raised through being able to leverage their business credit. So now your child is 17, 18 years old, ready to pull off a huge real estate deal for the first time. Now, if you educate your kids or your grandkids along the way, their first property doesn't have to be a single family residence. See, a lot of times people get confused and they focus on how many units you have or how many of buildings you have. I remember people would always say, well, hey, how many houses you got? It's not how many houses you have, it's how many doors you have. Okay, so you can have 50 houses scattered all over town, all over the country, but I'd rather have 50 or 100 doors under one roof, i.e. a hotel, i.e. an apartment building. So you see the difference? It helps you out tax-wise because now you only have one entity, one property tax you have to pay for, as opposed to 50 different property taxes and just 50 different headaches. Okay, so start introducing your kids to bigger investments. Introduce yourselves to bigger investments. So I think that's really important as it relates to credit and building credit. And Lovey, is it better to use your own money or somebody else's?
Of course, someone else's. Because I love going out to eat and not having to spend my money.
Absolutely. OPM. You got to master and get good at using OPM, other people's money. I know a lot of people would get on Caden's post and say, well, if you're such a wealthy kid, why are you doing a capital raise for the bus renovation? So explain to him, babe, why we do that.
We do that so Caden will understand how to raise funds, first of all, how to build relationships with companies. I'm actually learning a lot along the way as well, as far as like proposals, contracts, and Caden's learning that as well. And so it's something that's going to help him in the future, and because there will be more things to raise funds for. Absolutely.
And actually, by us documenting as we have been through this whole process, that's actually a course in the making. So we've been documenting the whole process. So we're going to be able to turn this into a course and show you how an 11-year-old kid did a capital raise to get this bus done. So he's working on a $50,000 capital raise. Well, let's ask this question: how many adults can raise $50,000?
Right.
So it's extremely remarkable watching the process of an 11-year-old actually going through this capital raise and raising funds
and pitching his own business to companies.
Absolutely. And see, one thing about Caden, let me tell you, kids can get past a gatekeeper and get in the door quicker and easier than we can as grown adults. Caden just had a Zoom meeting with the founders, the co-founders, CEOs of Greenlight. And I'm sure all you guys are very familiar with the company Greenlight. It's a platform to help teach kids about money and stock investments. Really cool app. But
card for kids.
Yeah. So Caden just acquired some stock in an oil company this week, because you know, one of the things you guys hear I keep talking about is we're not going to sit here and complain about gas, because your kids are going to do what they see you do. So they see us leverage this crisis, as the world calls it, and to be able to leverage it and be able to invest in oil companies that's going to make money. So when the market's good, that's good. When the market's bad, that's good, because either way it goes, we get paid. So if the gas price is low and the stock options are low to purchase, that's when we buy a whole bunch of it. But when it goes up high, then that's when we get an ROI on the dividends. So either way it goes, it works when you're an owner.
I got a good one.
What's that?
Remember we talked about making deals, like Caden partnering with other companies, and how we would choose for him to get revenue or shares in the company. Yeah, that's really big too. I think Beyonce is a great example of that. She did Coachella. Is that what you call it? Yes,
Coachella.
Netflix.
So a lot of times people say, well, aren't you supposed to get paid up front, get this big fat chunk of money? Well, if she did that, she would have made this amount of money. But because she took stock options, she did this amount of money. And oftentimes the way you structure it, it can be ongoing income. So you got to get savvy when it comes to business deals. You know how to structure your deals, just like your house. You know, they build a house on a foundation. Depending on how tall the house is going to be, it's going to be determined on how deep they build the foundation into the ground. So it's kind of like a root system on a tree. The deeper the root, the taller the tree can grow. So same thing with structuring your business. You want to structure your business to where you can have multiple avenues to be able to branch out, to invest, have options to be able to, as you said, be able to revenue share with the company, or if you want to be able to do a buyout or anything like that. Or you can do a combination. You can say, hey, we'll take a check now, and then after so many years, we'll take stock options or something like that. So that's one thing that Caden's working on right now with a major corporation that we're going to be discussing over the next couple of weeks, is taking stock options with the company instead of just getting a straight out check.
Right.
What else you got, Lovey?
You ready, ain't you?
I'm always ready. Because one of the things is it's imperative that we teach folks about finance. I think a lot of times people may see the lifestyle, see the things we do, the time freedoms that we have with family, but you got to know how it's done a lot of times. And I think a lot of times people don't take the time to say, okay, here's some of the things we do, just like what we just talked about with DJ and with the kids as far as structuring out how their credit goes. Well, that plays an important role because see, when DJ gets out of the Air Force, he has a 6-year commitment. So when he get out in 6 years, he is going to be like super positioned.
Right.
First of all, we talk about the educational aspect. You know, so many people always say, hey, they force their kids to go to college. You guys know my take on that. I'm not a college person. I think college is good for people who are going to specialize in something like being a doctor, engineer, or something like that where it's kind of required. But many times college degrees, hey, I know people that got more degrees than at the moment and they still broke. So let's just keep it real. A students teach B students who oftentimes work for C students, and D students, they got buildings named after them. But with DJ, he's going in as an aerospace medic tech, which the United States Air Force is paying for that. So he doesn't owe a dime for that. That will put him in a position where he can earn 6 figures very easily. While he's in, he can still elect to go to school. He can go to college, and let's just say he can be a dentist. Well, when he get out of the military, he still has educational funds access to him, where he can then say that, hey, I want to be an engineer. So 8 years from now, DJ can have 3 hard skill sets that will all create 6-figure revenue jobs or businesses. And one of the things, what he's going in for, which is the medic tech, that helps in one of our family businesses, which is a healthcare company. So he's positioned himself extremely well there, not to mention the leadership that he's going to get also for being in the military.
And one thing I'm maximizing on, he's going to be in Texas. Look for properties in Texas. Even if it's just a Airbnb, if I know he's going to be there, that means I can have him look after the property.
Exactly.
If it's a duplex, he can live on one side, he can be renting out the other side, and he's the property manager. So maximize your people wherever they are if you have people out of state.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's going to be real cool. And then not to mention when he gets out, he's going to have so many veteran benefits anyway, VA benefits as far as purchasing a house. Doesn't need any money, no down payment to buy a house. They'll have excellent credit, have education under the belt and everything. So he will be positioned as, what do they call it now? A high value dude. So we're excited about that. And the thing with DJ is, of course, we started later in life, but like with the kids started their businesses when they were both 7. So just imagine the impact that they're going to have economically, and the leverage they'll be able to have.
Right.
So,
because it should get better each time.
Absolutely.
Learn more along the way.
Absolutely. So we just want to take some time every once in a while and just kind of give you some of the nuts and bolts of what we do, how we do it, why we do it. That's one thing about the Air Force too that I really appreciated, being a United States Air Force veteran.
Oh boy.
But a lot of times we explain the why. See, one thing I learned in Leadership Academy in the Air Force was, whenever I get up and talk, I always tell you what I'm going to tell you, I tell it to you, and then I tell you what I told you. See, there's always a why. But a lot of times people don't succeed or have the gumption to go forth in something because they don't understand the why. So understand what your why is, and you got to have a why that's bigger than any paycheck or bigger than any amount. That's called your why currency. Now, that's a whole nother talk I can get into later, but your why currency is the currency that I can move you emotionally that goes beyond what your money is or what your income may be. So think about whatever your why currency is. But man, I think I gave them a lot tonight. That's some high impact information there.
It definitely was.
But and I can't stress enough about private family banking. I'm not gonna harp on that tonight, but that is definitely something that you need to learn about if you're not familiar with private family banking or infinite banking, because you're gonna pay for things such as houses, education, vehicles, whatever. Doesn't it only make sense to purchase these things through a banking system that you own with something you probably already have, which is life insurance. All you do is you leverage whole life policies to where you can now borrow against your own bank. And this way, the interest is redirected back to you, as well as the actual principal of whatever the item was or investment that you bought in the first place. So everything we do it through private family banking system. Want to buy a new vehicle? Buy it through your own banking system. Your house, put it in your own banking system. So I think we've been conditioned so many times to think that insurance, life insurance, is only for death. But many of us, in particular in our culture, weren't taught how to leverage that tool to your advantage. But why have a tool that's only necessary when you die? Don't you want to have a tool that you can take advantage of while you're alive? So that's the advantage of having private family banking system. Can't stress that enough. So we got a course on that. We got books on that. So check it out. Y'all need to really learn about that and have options. Have options. I think if you buy like a $300,000 house, if you got to hold 30 years and pay the mortgage off, you're going to pay approximately $427,000 total. So that's a whole another $127,000 of interest that you pay on something that you would not have had to pay anyway. And that same capital can be redeployed and positioned to be able to buy you other assets, other income producing assets, such as other investment properties or business ventures or something like that. So I think I gave them too much information tonight. My head's starting to sizzle a little bit because it's getting hot and heated. But I think we're down to 245 days left in 2022 to achieve your 2022 goals. Time is running out. Let's go.